everyone. All right, today we are going to use our knowledge around equations, and we're going to take the slope and we're going to use that with some substitution to write proportional equations. So the first thing that we want to do is look at a problem. So the problem says the weight of an object on Titan, one of Saturn's moons, is proportional to the weight of an object on Earth. The weight of Titan is Y. The weight of Earth is X. An object that weighs 105 pounds on Earth would weigh 15 pounds on Titan. And they want us to write an equation that represents this situation. So that way we could substitute anything in and have a line that can be graphed. So the first thing I'm going to do is just write out this problem. So it says the weight of an object on Titan equals Y. And then it says the weight of an object on Earth equals X. Okay, so we have two different things. They then tell us that an object weighs 105 pounds on Earth. So we have something and it weighs 105 on Earth. The object on Titan is 15 pounds. And they want us to write an equation. Okay, so we're going to write an equation that represents this situation that we can use to solve or write slope. So first we're going to use some substitution. So our points that we have in this equation here, we're going to look. It says the object on Earth is 105 pounds. Okay, so the object on Earth is 105 pounds. We know then that Earth is going to be our X value. So we can pull this out and we can say X equals 105 pounds. Okay, the next thing that we have here, it says that the object on Titan is then 15 pounds. So we're going to take Titan is Y, represents our Y value. So Y equals 15 pounds. So we're just pulling this information out. Okay, now we know that the equation that we've been using over and over and over again is Y equals mx plus b. Okay, that is our equation. Since we don't know the y-intercept yet, or because this is a positive equation, we're just going to use y equals mx. We will worry about the b once we start to graph the y-intercept. So for right now, we're just going to use this, and we're going to use some substitution. So our first thing to substitute in is x pounds. So x pounds is 105. So m times 105 equals 15. Our job is to solve for the m so that we can use an equation over and over again. Maybe the object on Earth weighs more or weighs less, then we would be able to still graph it. So we're going to draw our balance line. We've used substitution. We're going to draw our balance line. We have multiplication on this side, so we're going to divide by 105. And over here, we're going to divide by 105. And so it tells us that m equals a really big number. So let's figure out if 15 goes into 105. Okay, so I have my calculator, and I'm just going to do 15 divided by 105. Oh, let's do it the other way around. Let's say 105 divided by 15, and that gives us 7. So 7 is our number, or 1 over 7. So when we divide by 15 on both sides, we get 1 over 7. So m equals 1 over 7. That is our slope. Okay, so we just figured out the slope. Found slope. Okay, we used the x and the y plus our knowledge about solving one-step equations to find the slope of the line. Now that we know the slope of the line, we can now take this slope and put it in to our equation. So our equation is y equals 1 over 7 times x. This equation can be used to graph any line that we find that has to do with something found on Earth and Titan. Okay, so it says the next part of this asks us to then use our equation. So it says that use your equation. So part B, so here's part A. And now part B, use the equation to know how much 3.5 pounds on Titan weigh on Earth. So how much does ice, use the equation to find the weight of ice on Earth. Okay, so let's see here. It says 3.5 on Titan. Okay, so now we're going to use substitution again to find how much it weighs on Earth. So if we look back up, it says Titan is our y value. So this equals our y. We're using this equation here. So our equation is y equals 1 over 7x. So we have 3.5. We're substituting in for the y, and 1/7 x. So we're going to divide by 1/7. But if we divide by 1/7, we know that a fraction divided by a fraction, we need the reciprocal, right? So I'm going to keep it, change it, and flip it. This gives me 7 over 7. So my multiplier here is times 7.1. Times 7 over 1. I'm so sorry. So this tells me then that x is equal to 3.5 times 7. So let's pull up the calculator again, and we are going to do 3.5 times 7. So 3.5 times 7 gives me 24.5 pounds on Earth. So I could take our x value of 24.5 and our y value, which is 3.5, and I could graph this. So when there's a chunk of ice on Titan and it weighs 3.5 pounds, on that same exact chunk is going to weigh 24.5. So you're using this equation to find the slope, and we know that our slope is also the constant of proportionality, so that way the weights stay proportional. Okay, let's do another example. Okay, so go ahead and hit pause so you can finish writing this down. We're going to do another example so that you could see this in action again. Okay, so our next example says the daily wage, Y, in dollars of a factory worker is proportional to the number of parts, X, that are assembled in a day. A worker who assembles 250 parts in a day makes $75. So this means that if you are assembling parts, you get paid money. Okay, so you work in a factory, you are working, you're assembling things in the factory, and for everything that you assemble, you get paid some money. So we're going to create an equation that shows the relationship between assembling things and how much money you're going to make. So let's look at what this means. So Y represents dollars. Okay, or the daily wage, how much money you make. And the X is number of things assembled. All right. So our first X value, so I'm going to write out what it says. It says a worker assembles 250 parts and earns $75. Okay, per day. So this is in a day. Let's write that for the day. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's look at our X, figure out which is X, and then we're going to figure out which is the Y. So Y is the amount of money in dollars. So in our equation, $75 is Y. So Y equals $75. Okay, our X value is the number of things assembled. So how many things did they make? I just put a hole in my paper. Oh my goodness. Okay, so they assemble 250 parts. That is my X. So X equals 250. My job now is to find the slope. So we need to find the slope, or the constant of proportionality, because these two things go together. They form a proportion. So we want to find the slope. Y equals mx. So we're looking for the m. Okay, the way that we're going to find the m is we're going to substitute. In for y, I'm going to put 75. So 75 equals m times the x, which is 250. All right, now I want to isolate the variable just like we did many chapters ago. I look here and I see that I'm multiplying right now. So to undo multiplication, I need to divide. So I'm going to divide by 250 things. And over here, I'm going to divide by 250 things. And then I'm going to use my calculator to find what number they have in common. So I can look at this real quick and I see 5, that they both have a 5. but also maybe like 25. So maybe 25 is it? So let's look and see if we can do 25. 250 divided by 25. Ooh, that gives me 10. And 25 here. So if I divide by 25 and divide by 25, I get 3/10. So 3/10 equals M. 3/10 equals M. So my equation now, the equation that I found is y equals 3/10 x. That is an x. 3/10 x, not m. This is the m. This is your slope. That's your constant of proportionality. That's how much of a change happens. So it now is asking a second question. How much does a worker earn who assembles 300 parts? So let's look at the next question. So we're going to go up here. We're looking. Things assembled was X. So in for X, I'm going to use my equation here. And my equation is now going to say Y equals, so how much money, there's the money, equals the slope or the proportion of things assembled, which is 300 parts. All right, so we're looking for the money. How much money do they earn? So we can say 3/10 times 300/1. So this is going to give us 900/10, or y equals 90. Oh my goodness, missing under $90. So I was able to use the slope to find how much money they're making. All right, it is your turn now to do a try it, but this try it is going to end up going on onto another page. So write down what you need to, hit pause if you need to before you go for the try it. All right, it is time for your try it. Sorry for the long pause in the video there. I moved the screen recorder and for some reason it got all funky, so I apologize for that. All right, so your try it says the number of objects a machine produces is proportional to the time that the machine runs. So this means that however long the machine runs, it's going to produce some number of products, okay, and or objects. So it says that the objects are Y. So objects produced, oh, this is your try it. Objects produced equals the Y. And then it says the time. So time equals X. And then it says the machine produces 5 objects in 4 minutes. So our job is to find the proportional rate or the constant of proportionality. Produces, what did I say? 5 objects in 4 minutes. Okay, so we need to find the constant of proportionality. So that's point A. Find the slope and write an equation. So write an equation with the slope. And then B, your part B, your second thing is to, how much does it produce in 1 hour? Oh, that's really big. Let's say how much in 30 minutes, okay? So let's go ahead and first hit pause so you don't hear me solving this. And then when you're ready, go ahead and hit play. So it says objects produced is Y. The time it takes is X. We are creating Y equals MX. So our Y, objects produced, is 5 objects. And we are looking at time of time of X. So there's our X. There is our Y. So now we're just going to use some substitution. So 5 equals M times 4. And we're going to divide by 4, divide by 4. So M equals 5 over 4. 5 over 4. You could also just simplify that down and say 1 1/4 if you wanted. You could do it that way. So 1 1/4 would be your answer there. Okay. Now we want to know how much in 30 minutes. So we're going to take, we didn't write our equation. So Y equals 5 over 4 mx. Why do I keep putting m there? I am so sorry. Let me rewrite it. Y equals 5 over 4 x times x. So time is 30 minutes. So I'm going to go 5 over 4 times 30 minutes is equal to y. So now I'm going to set this up so it's 2 fractions multiplying against each other. I keep forgetting that. Okay, 5 times 30, so 0, and that is 150. So this equals 150 over 4, and 150 divided by 4 equals 37 and a half. 37 and a half objects. So y equals 37 and a half objects produced in 30 minutes. So really they've only produced 37 and they're working on half of an object. All right, go ahead and answer your essential question. How do we write an equation with a constant of proportionality? And how do we use that equation? And then put your level of understanding out to this side. If you have any questions, please come on back to the Google Meet. Otherwise, you may go and do your practice work. Thank you for all of your hard work and make it a great day.